I think part of my job as team captain is to help make sure that the story of what we put together, the problem, the solution, was really clearly conveyed.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
I think that we put together a pretty good storyline of, really graspable, because this invention is something that is useful for everything, for literally everything. Solitary sports, something that lots of people like to do. They're incredibly fun, they're widely popular. They're also potentially dangerous. Someone falls and gets hurt, and that's a bad thing. It's especially bad when something bad happens and you're all by yourself, far away from someone that might be able to help you.
So, I love to fly these things called powered paragliders. Yeah, that's me right there. And that was actually last weekend, if you'd believe it. I was up there having an amazing time, but then tragedy struck. And my motor actually died when I was about 1,000 feet in the air over, this wooded area in the backwoods of Oklahoma. But I got very, very lucky. What if I had been knocked unconscious, right? I wouldn't have been able to call for help, and who knows what would have happened, I might not be standing here today. We really tried to have a lot of showmanship in the presentation we gave to the judges. This is, a little Hollywoody, if you will, but, that's what grabs people's attention.
I've also had some pretty tough situations. This is a photo from just a few years ago, a really bad car accident I was in. I was knocked out. I came to in a hospital. Thank God people came across me, but I understand how lucky I got in that situation, that I was somewhere where I was found and help was called quickly. So we realized there's a need to have people be able to reach emergency services when they don't necessarily have the ability to do so. So we realized we could create a solution to this problem with the technology we have, and we call this the Save Me system. We're excited to show it to you now. All right, bring it on out. You guys may want to cover your ears.
Demos always go poorly. It goes well when you don't need it to, and then the second that anyone, anywhere, or just the device kind of feels like, oh, you actually need me to work right now, I'm not gonna do that.
Claire, you ready?
Yep.
All right, cover your ears, please.
Oh!
And then we thought we had it enough where it's like, oh, just a light tap will do it. But obviously our product is not made so that if you're walking around, you bump your head, it's gonna go off. So Trey needed to punch me in the head a few times.
You saw how hard we had to hit it, right?
Right, and I'm happy you took off the helmet before doing it.
Right. So, if you were to fall over and, you just hit your head, it's not gonna go off. You really have to have a hard impact before, the system's gonna go out. So it's designed so that, it can detect, the hits that will cause, unconsciousness. That's
so in a
right,
way,
what we're trying to
the
detect.
demo was on purpose. It was showing that, hey, it's not just gonna sound
Brilliant.
anytime.
Exactly.
You really get hit.
Yeah, exactly. How does this thing work? What makes it tick? We've got a Dragon Board 410C, which is kind of the control hub for the bicycle itself. So that's what's receiving commands from the internet to turn on and off the buzzer and the location LEDs. We have a helmet-mounted Bluetooth motion sensor, which I actually designed myself. Pretty proud of it, yeah. So that's how we're able to detect the impacts, and we can actually detect not only how hard they hit, but where the user actually hit their head, which when we talked to a physician, they said that that was actually one of the most valuable pieces of information for them when they're doing triage on one of these patients. There's one more special feature. So I'd like you all to pull out your cell phones.
You've been testing this since before, haven't you?
Well,
Oh, that was from you.
Yeah.
So
Claire crashed.
check your text messages, check your Twitter as well.
Got it. Yeah, multiple.
And so even, if you didn't have data, you're gonna get the SMS, and there's a link to a Google map that shows exactly where Claire was at when she crashed.
Some vital statistics that we found.
So when we were looking at different types of activities that this could be applied for, we went with biking first and foremost because there are over 50,000 injuries per year and over 1,000 deaths. Boating is another one that this could be applied to. Over 4,000 injuries and over 600 deaths. Backpacking, 100 deaths. Skiing, 42 deaths. And a general estimate of any of those injuries and any of those deaths is that around 20% of injuries are head injuries and around 18% of deaths are due to closed head injuries.
I'm looking at this, imagining helmets and seatbelts and airbags and how at certain points in time, those were optional safety pieces. Now they're mandatory, and it's a great thing that they are because they're proven to do incredible things. I think this has a place in doing something similar and becoming that ubiquitous. And you know, I'm a new dad. This is my 2-year-old little guy right there. And I'm gonna wrap it up just by saying I can't wait for this to be fully implemented so I can put this on his system because I will do anything to make sure that he's safe at all times. So thank you. This is a Save Me system.
You know, I think that the emotional appeal of the product was clearly demonstrated, and I know that's a very powerful tool that you can use, you know, when you're marketing a product.
Can I poke at the statistics a little bit? And you probably have all this information. You said head trauma is the leading cause of death in sporting activities. So I just wonder if you really took a hard look at those, what number would shake out of people who are unconscious due to a head injury in all those sports?
I would say the magic number we're looking for is 1. If one person hits their head and is unconscious and can't call for help, and we're able to do something to save them, then we've done our job.
Yeah, we saved a life.
So when it hits the head, that information then gets sent to the Dragon board
Yes.
and to the cell phone?
That's correct.
And then so the Dragon board is being used to just collect data?
Yes, yeah.
Is it
So
processing anything?
It logs that data. It's not processing anything currently.
There's in the marketplace somewhat similar devices, like senior citizens have these things they can wear, like when they fall, they can press a button. Some cars have that OnStar thing or something like that.
Right.
Do you worry that, like, if you bring this, it's like, it wouldn't take very long for maybe these people with other resources to kind of...
It's an interesting question. I think that one of the things that the OnStar system, for instance, has, it's a subscription model, which puts it out of the range of most everyday people. The way that we've built this, it doesn't require subscriptions. It works with existing systems and technology that you already have.
Leverages the Internet of Things, right, to do, you know, the impossible for free, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you guys so much.
Yeah,
You guys did
really
an awesome
appreciate
job.
it.
Really
We
good
had a
job.
blast the past few days.
I feel like we did an incredible job with our presentation. We were doing something that no one ever done before. We were leveraging the Internet of Things. We were using the WhyWait philosophy of Qualcomm.
All right, guys, so just to be clear who we're evaluating here, we've got Ian's team, which is the blue team, which came up with the snakebite anti-venom delivery technology tricorder. And then we've got the orange team, which is Mike's team, which invented, of course, this thing with the bike and the helmet. You get knocked unconscious, this thing will alert somebody.
What I found fascinating is that the Orange team put an enormous amount of creativity into their presentation. They spent a lot of time thinking about how to take the pitch, exactly.
I mean, I also liked how it looked. It looked polished a bit. You could actually see that in a market, the way that they've designed it. You could actually see that.
So I was struck by the creativity of the Orange team's presentation. And the Blue team, they almost forgot about the presentation. They were so immersed in what they were doing. It was like, oh, you're here. Yeah, ask us some questions.
I was really impressed by the Team Blue. You know, I really appreciated how they used the processing power of the Snapdragon on the 410C Dragon board. Team Orange, they didn't quite use the whole potential of the Dragon board.
I think it's also a very powerful narrative, you know? I mean, they were starting to talk about these third world countries where the penetration of smartphones has been huge, and it's brought all these advantages to places that in some cases don't even have running water. And this is part of that story of how emerging technologies can go and solve third world problems in a very real way.
The scoping around the issue and the size of the issue and the solution to the issue was so well crafted and so well thought through.
From the beginning. They
From
were
the
like,
beginning.
you know, up to 100,000 people get bitten by snakes and die in these rural villages. You can kind of imagine it right away, and you're like, wow, okay, cool.
You know, I think the orange was just a much less ambitious scope of a problem.
At the same time, their form factor was really cool, right? The way they designed it was really well engineered. That idea and how they put that together was really interesting, right? I mean, just in general, to have some sort of mechanism on yourself, right, that would send that information out to doctors or to your emergency contacts is really...
Tell them how you got hit.
Right. You
Exactly
fell.
where the impact in your head was.
But they were both great. I mean, they both did such a great
They
job.
both did an amazing job, yep.
And in the time that they had and the execution that they did that in, I mean, they both were really impressive. And it wasn't like a, you know, it wasn't easy completely, right? I mean,
Our job is really difficult.
it is. People should feel sorry for us.
I walked out of the final presentation feeling like we had hit a home run. I felt like that was one of the best presentations or pitches that I had ever given with a team.
Win or lose, we would be happy to tell our friends and family, like, this is what I worked on. I worked on a project that would help people in rural parts of the world deal with a problem that's preventable.
Hey, guys.
Hey, good to see you again.
Have a seat. How you guys doing?
Good. Excited.
Nervous, excited?
So, first off, thank you to both of you for doing an excellent job, excellent ideas, excellent presentation, and Ian's team, incredible job.
I was so struck by the clarity with which you framed the problem and had really gone to great lengths to understand the need, and also thought all the way out to building an infrastructure. So I thought that was wonderful. The one thing that was missing, which you couldn't have done anything about, was obviously all of this needs to be done with the people that you're engaging. And so, but I thought it was really wonderful effort.
All right, Mike's team, Orange team, thank you for this incredible idea.
I thought your presentation was fantastic. You guys did a great job. It was really well polished, and I thought the product that you guys put together was really nice, and especially in such a short amount of time, right? You know, in terms of a possible drawback is, you know, how scalable is it? You know, who is the audience and what niche are you fulfilling there? Yeah. Great job. I myself personally, as an engineer, would love to work. I mean, I would be honored to work with any one of you guys.
You are all deserving of praise and celebration.
We are giving you lots.
But we can only really move forward with one of these inventions today. Blue team, Ian, congratulations. We are going to move forward with your project.
Oh, great. Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But congratulations to
so
all of you
much.
guys. Congratulations.
Oh, I feel really good about it. It's not hard. It's not easy to not feel good about that, I think.
My dad would say slow and steady wins the race. Just each person being focused and responsible is what allowed us to put it all together at the end. It was like being in the Beatles for 3 days. It just worked out perfectly. You don't get moments like that in your career a lot.
Awesome job, y'all.
Good job, Anna.
We didn't win, but I definitely feel like we also didn't lose. Really, I think the only thing we missed out on was having the opportunity to take it further and make this a thing that does eventually become as popular as seatbelts and airbags and helmets, because it definitely is a technology that really should exist.
Ian, congratulations. Awesome job.
We clicked. That's what I loved about it. And I felt bad that I wouldn't get to spend more days inventing with them. It's just been a blast.
We were very motivated to come up with something that, you know, if we can do this much towards this problem in 3 days, if everyone started being a maker and being an inventor, you know, how much could we solve towards a lot more problems?
Maybe in that giant world of all of us doing little things here and there, every now and then, one of those little things will be something really cool that'll change the world.